What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do an update video on my gun room. I've been in this thing for about a year. If you guys haven't seen my original videos on building this gun room, I'll link them in the description. I'll also have a link for my old gun room that I had. I did a video on that, kind of a tour of that, so I'll have it linked in the description. But we're going to do an update video on this gun room. I'll answer some of your questions. I've got a bunch of comments in my previous videos, so I'm going to try and answer some of those questions for you guys. And then we're also going to do one very much needed upgrade that I've kind of been putting off, but I've got the stuff to do it, so we're going to do that also. So let's jump into it. My old gun room was in the cold storage of my house. It was just a bunch of junk piled in there, so we cleaned that out and I turned that into a gun room, and I quickly outgrew that. It served its purpose for a little while, but the more stuff I acquired and my kids getting a little bit more interested and stuff like that being in there with me, it got cramped really fast. So my wife gave me the green light to turn a spare bedroom we had into a new gun room, and this is probably 3 times the size of my old gun room, and who would say no to that? It wasn't cheap. It was a lot of work to get this room done, and my family helped me quite a bit. You see them helping me, and this is kind of a family project putting this thing together. Now this room, yes, the main purpose is for working on guns, building guns, doing all that stuff, reloading, everything like that. But I built it with the intent of serving a dual purpose in filming videos like this. So yes, I do a lot of work on guns in here, but also filming equipment and lights and computers and things like that also take up some of the space in this room because they're kind of must-haves for doing YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted a little bit more space, so I could have all this stuff all in one spot, so I could do what the room was designed to do, work on guns, you know, display some guns, and also film and make cool content for you guys. Some of the things I've done are strictly for working on guns, building guns, doing stuff like that. Other things are not necessary at all, but they make it visually pleasing for you guys, like the lights around the gun wall and the accent lights and things like that. It looks cool, but obviously it's not necessary. I just wanted some accent lighting and it to look cool, kind of frame that gun wall and make it kind of pop in videos. So let's jump up, we'll take a closer look at this gun wall. I'll kind of show you guys how I have it laid out and how this thing works. All the panels and mounts and everything are from Secure It Tactical. In my personal experience, I haven't had any complaints. It's very modular. I can move anything anywhere and rearrange it however I want. It's not kind of cookie cutter and you have to do this and this and this. I can arrange it however I want. We'll jump over there, take a little closer look. I'll kind of show you guys how it works. Okay, so this is the gun wall. It's from Secure It Tactical. I know this is gonna get annoying, and I haven't done many videos where I'm kind of holding the camera doing vlog style, but bear with me. I'm gonna show you guys the gun wall and maybe answer some questions along the way. So these are what the panels look like. They're kind of a louvered panel that you screw to the wall. They come in different sizes and you can configure them however you want. For my particular wall, I had to trim them down. They weren't perfectly sized, so up near the top, I had to trim those top panels, and then at the very end panel, I had to trim those also so it would fit perfectly. Like I mentioned, I wanted to frame this wall with these LED lights all the way around, which I think turned out sweet. I also have them across the back of my bench. I've never done anything like that with LEDs. I found this metal diffuser channel on Amazon, and it pretty much just screws to the wall. You can cut it to whatever length you want, and then it's got that little plastic diffuser that goes over top, and it kind of makes it look like a solid light versus each individual LED, which turned out pretty good. So what I did is I just screwed the channel to the wall in the frame that I wanted, put the LEDs in it, got them all wired up, got the diffuser in it, and then I installed the gun wall panels. I have had a few questions on these LED lights. It's all wired and comes right out here down at the bottom, and it's all wired up underneath my bench. So let me show you. I know some guys won't even be interested in this, but there have been people that are interested, so I'm just going to show you. So I wired these little controllers up under here under the bench. These are little Wi-Fi controllers for each LED strip, and then it has a power source that I have right here, and I just used an old extension cord, ran it over, plugged it in. I left plenty of cord just in case I change things up or something like that in the future. But that's the power module, and then everything's just wired up to these 3 LED controllers, and that controls what color the lights are and everything like that. Those are linked to a Philips Hue hub that I can control the lights from my phone. I can put whatever color I want in the rainbow. That power module that supplies power for it is plugged in all the time and runs constantly. It has an internal fan, which was noisy as hell, so I pulled that thing apart, unplugged the fan, did some tests. It does not get hot at all with what I'm pulling out of it. It's way oversized for what I've got. So I figured I didn't need the fan, so I've unplugged the fan, and it doesn't get hot or overheat or anything like that. I didn't want that sitting there on all the time. So I have the cord ran over under the bench, plugged into a smart outlet that I can control from my phone, which is handy. Then I just go on there, click it on, and then I can go into the Philips Hue app and change it to whatever colors I want. Then I also got these other little accent lights. I think the brand is Govee. I got a couple pairs of those, and they're just wired up, and they're also Wi-Fi. You can change them to whatever you want and set the mood however you want. They kind of accent the wall behind me when I'm doing videos and make it look kind of cool. Now let's talk more about the mounts and stuff. So I have these pistol mounts that you can move wherever you want. You just pull the gun off, and you can adjust this wherever you want on the wall. They have different ones, right and left-handed. Then they have these ones that kind of store a bunch of pistols. I've got these little shelves and stuff that I just have magazines and things like that in. And then these are the rifle stands. They come with shelves on the bottom with little base plates that hold the butt stocks. And then they have these little cradles up top that cradle around the barrel or the handguard or whatever. So let me show you on this. I'll pull this one out of the way. So these little cradles have like a set screw on there, so you get them set where you want. You can tighten up that screw and set it, and then it has this little bungee that can go up and over the barrel of your gun to hold it secure so somebody doesn't bump it and it falls over or anything like that. So that's what I've got here. Like I said, you just buy these little shelves and these little buttstock holders, and they all have little tabs that kind of snap together and lock those together so they can't slide back and forth, and you can set it up however you want. The way I've got it set up, I've got longer guns on the bottom for the most part on both sides, and then I've got AR pistols kind of up top. They also have these kind of horizontal mounts that you can move wherever. I have some rifles displayed horizontally, and then I've used some shelves for some decorations. There's some guys with good eyes because they've seen this behind me. I've got questions on this beer can, what the story is with that, and also this gun oil that I have here. So my grandpa died about 8 years ago, and this gun oil is some gun oil he had. My dad hit me up when they were cleaning out their house and asked me if I wanted anything. My dad got my grandpa's guns, and at some point I'll get those guns. But a few years ago, my dad brought this over to me. I'm not sure how old this is, but there's still oil in it. It's still, I don't know, about a quarter of the way full. But he got that at my grandpa's house, and he thought I would kind of like that. So he brought it over to me, which is kind of cool. And I haven't used it or anything. I just kind of have it on display because I think that's kind of a cool old oil can. Now the beer can, the company I work for, we were wrecking out some old equipment in a park, changing some stuff out. And I opened up the equipment. We were getting rid of it. And this was laying in the bottom, covered in spider webs and spiders and stuff. And honestly, it's in perfect shape other than, you know, some surface blemishes, but it was in really good shape, to be honest. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I grabbed it, scrubbed it up a little with some dish soap, got it as clean as I could without crinkling it or anything. But I thought that was kind of cool, so I just thought I'd throw that up there. So that's pretty much the gun wall. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Also, I'll have a link in the description like I do with all my videos that'll take you to our website. And I'll have affiliate links for anything and everything that we're talking about in this video, for stuff on the gun wall, the panels, the hangers, the shelves, the cradles, all this stuff that I built my gun wall out of, even the channel and the lights and everything like that. I'll have links for all that stuff. I forgot to mention, my wife also got this for me for Christmas. It's the logo for the channel. She had someone cut that out for me. I think that's pretty cool. I put it up as a decoration in the gun room, and I think it turned out great. Another thing I forgot to mention, I'm thinking about doing some merchandise. So you just saw my logo. You see it in the intro and outro. I'm wondering if that's something you guys would be interested in. I've been thinking about doing some shirts and some hats and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments if that's something you guys would be interested in. So now we're gonna jump over to the bench, and this is where our project comes in. This is one thing that's been driving me nuts since I've had this gun room. So here's my bench. You guys have seen it in the other videos. This is no extra light. This is just flipping the lights on, and this is how it is. These are the lights that I have in the ceiling. Like I mentioned, this is a spare bedroom, so it just had can lights. I pulled those can lights out because they were not bright enough and installed these lights. They're like kind of garage/shop lights, so they're a lot brighter, and I had a couple of these in my old gun room. Now I needed to add a couple more in this gun room, so I had to buy a couple more. But with those lights, when I'm at the bench working on something, they're kind of behind me, behind my head, and they cast a shadow, so it's really dark on the bench. So since I built this gun room, I've wanted to do some lights up underneath the cabinets that shine directly down on the bench on both sides. So I finally found some. I'm going to show you what they look like, and then I'm going to throw them on real quick. So these are the lights I found on Amazon. They're just under cabinet lights. They're like 12-inch strips, LED lights. It came with 6 of these, and then it came with a bunch of these jumper cables to tie them together, a power source, and then a switch to turn them on and off. So I'm going to throw these up, wire them up real quick, and we'll see what the difference is once I get these things up. So here's what it looks like beforehand with me standing here. It kind of casts a shadow on the bench. You can't see very well. I thought maybe the LEDs up underneath, I could change them to white and it would cast some light on there, but it didn't do as much as I thought it would. So I'm gonna just take these cabinet lights, throw them up underneath there, and hopefully they make a big difference. They come with a bunch of 3M tape and kind of wire ties and stuff like that to get them installed. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So I got those lights installed. I think that will solve the biggest problem that I've had with the gun room. Not necessarily a problem. The biggest thing that I think needed to be improved in my gun room is light over the bench. Because when I'm standing over there or sitting over there, the overhead lights kind of hit me in the back and cast a shadow, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. So I think those under cabinet lights will help a lot. But all in all, how I set this thing up a year ago, it has done an amazing job. I'm really happy with how I have it set up and how it's worked out for me. If you haven't seen the build videos of this gun room, I will link them below, as well as a link to the video I did of my old gun room, so you can kind of see the differences and what things that I upgraded. But I want to go over a few questions and comments and concerns that I've seen in my gun room build videos that I kind of wanted to address. So if you guys are thinking the same thing, you have answers to those questions. By far, the top question or concern that I get is security of this room. Yes, it started as a bedroom. It was a spare bedroom in our house. People want to know how I keep this thing secure and that I haven't mentioned that in previous videos. I haven't mentioned it in previous videos. This is my house. This is where I live. I try not to put out on the internet what security I have and how I have things set up. I intentionally try not to show that stuff on camera. I will say this room is very secure, probably one of the most secure in this house. Since the day we moved into this house, it has had a security system with the door and window sensors, glass break sensors, all that stuff. This bedroom worked out perfect because it is fully encased in concrete. Yes, there is a window. I have taken extra measures above and beyond the normal security that we have with cameras and security system and stuff like that for this room. Like I've said, kind of replying to some of those comments, I'm not gonna put all that information out on the internet for you guys. Yeah, I know some guys do, and that's cool. That's perfectly fine, but my family's security and my personal property is of utmost importance to me, and I'm not just gonna put that out on the internet for anyone to see or read or whatever. I know that doesn't directly answer the question, so that's that. Another big comment I got is that I have carpet in this room and I work on guns and reload. That is true. I kept the carpet. I'm not going to rip it out. And honestly, I prefer the carpet. Yes, there's been a couple occasions where a pin has rolled off the bench or something like that and I can't find it, but the carpet is much more comfortable in a house working on things like that than a concrete floor. I have magnets, I can find little pins and stuff like that. There hasn't been one that I've dropped and I've lost completely. I've been able to find them. As far as reloading goes, yes, when you're reloading, powder does spill and can make a mess. I'm cognizant of that and I try not to do that, but yes, powder has spilled on the carpet. It's not a big deal for me. Honestly, I just vacuum it up. I'm sure the comments are gonna come on this video too. You never vacuum up powder. There's static charge and all that stuff. I can light it off. And if powder's stuck in your carpet and the fire ignites, all hell's gonna break loose. So yes, powder is highly flammable and you wanna take care when you're storing it and using it and things like that. It's not nearly as explosive as when it's constrained in a case or in a container that it's stored in. And it harnesses that energy for that explosion. When it's out in the open, it's not nearly as explosive. I have gotten some comments about fires and things like that. Yes, I do have a fire extinguisher in this room. Yes, I have smoke alarms that are tied to the security system, so it calls the fire department if the smoke alarms go off, alerts my phone, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, I am perfectly fine and have no worries with how I have things set up in here. So let me know what you guys think. This is just kind of an update video on how things have progressed and how I like it in the last year that I've had this gun room. Like I mentioned, I use this for working on guns and filming these videos, so it does get kind of cluttered and I have to kind of make use of space and putting equipment and things certain places for filming and try and get it out of the way when I'm working on guns or vice versa. But it's worked out awesome. I love the amount of space I have. I love how I have things set up. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. I try and reply to those comments as often as I can, unless they're a stupid comment. I don't bother with that shit. If you guys got a comment or question that's worthwhile, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys want to go check out some of the stuff that I've mentioned, I'll have links in the description. And make sure you're subscribed and hit that thumbs up button. I do have some cool builds coming up. I got a couple AR builder sets that I'm going to be building and doing some ARs. Always a project going on. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and we'll check you guys on the next one.